Coming up on News 2, Senate President Ronald Russell called a special committee of the whole session Tuesday to allow Minister Louis Farrakhan an opportunity to speak to the community. Hear what his address was all about. And a bomb threat disrupts business and Christmas shopping at Home Depot. Plus, police are investigating numerous robberies and burglaries. Officers encourage you to call detectives or Crime Stoppers if you have any information that can help. Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Goman saying top in this newscast. Senate President Ronald Russell called a special committee of the whole session on Tuesday to allow Minister Louis Farrakhan an opportunity to speak to the community. Farrakhan is an inspirational speaker for the African American religious movement, the Nation of Islam. But what topics did he address? News 2's Erica Bivens was at the legislature and has more.
We have challenges in our territory right now that require an infusion of spiritual, social, economic, cultural, and educational wisdom.
Senate President Ronald Russell called together a special committee of the whole session Tuesday for Minister Louis Farrakhan to address the community. Senator Usi Richards introduced Farrakhan, stating it's the fourth time in 4 years he's visited the territory. But today the minister addressed the senators and those newly elected.
So don't let things guide you to make bad decisions.
Much of Farrakhan's message was infused with spirituality. However, he also addressed crime, children, the future, and education. He also gave food for thought, speaking about sustainability and the need to grow our own food.
Right now, all your food is coming from somewhere else.
Although he spoke to a room full of mostly followers, the reaction was diverse.
Hopefully, with the new change in terms of the legislation, we can do something about uplifting our educational system here.
He always inspired me, and I always get something out of it because I believe in our ancestors and the struggle that they had, and I think that at this point in time, we should all be doing better instead of being separated.
At the end, he said a few things that were a bit extreme for my taste. Sometimes I realize that there are ways of motivating people, and perhaps that was just motivational. I'm very much into seeing people as unified and one tribe.
Minister Farrakhan will also be speaking on St. Croix today, and then will be continuing on with his Caribbean tour. Reporting at the legislature on St. Thomas, I'm Erica Bivens for News 2.
And Minister Farrakhan is speaking at the St. Croix Educational Complex at 7:30 this evening. Home Depot on St. Croix was faced with a bomb threat Tuesday morning. The Virgin Islands Police Department was dispatched at 8:15 a.m. Following reports that Home Depot would blow up in 4 minutes, the VIPD bomb unit responded immediately, and all employees were evacuated so that canine officers could perform a bomb search. Once canines determined that no explosives were in the building, employees were allowed to conduct business as normal. Police wants to remind residents that making threats is a serious matter and can be punishable by law. Haitian native Maynard Damus was arrested and charged with third-degree assault. Police say the 29-year-old suspect hit a male victim with a piece of steel during an argument on August 26. The victim in this case was treated at the Schneider Regional Medical Center for injuries to his head. Bail for Maynard Damus was set at $50,000. The suspect was unable to post bail, and he was remanded to the custody of the Bureau of Corrections pending further court action. Two brothers have been arrested and charged with first-degree reckless endangerment. Criminal Investigation Bureau detectives conducted an investigation into the discharging of shots in two separate areas that occurred in November. They requested warrants for the Iraza brothers' arrest from the VI Superior Court, which was granted. Officers say 21-year-old Angel Iraza, also known as Lucito, discharged shots in the Prophet Hills community, and 18-year-old Antonio recklessly fired shots in Estate Williams Delight. The brothers were arrested on November 30th at 12:30 p.m. and held on bails of $500,000 each and remanded to the custody of the Golden Grove Adult Correctional Facility pending further court action. And police say they need your help as they continue to investigate on St. Thomas a robbery first degree that happened in Red Hook on December 1st around 8 a.m. The victim told police that he was walking in the area when an unknown man robbed him of his gold chain, which was valued at $1,000. He was struck with a club or a baton on his right knee. Also on November 31st, a female victim told police she was walking up the hill to her residence in Estate Content when she heard someone walking behind. The male who was behind her grabbed her handbag and he and the victim began to struggle. The victim told police she bit the suspect on his hand and he let go of her bag and fled the area. Police are also investigating a third-degree burglary that happened on November 30th in Carrot Bay. The victim said burglars broke into his home through a southern window and 2 weapons from his home, a .22 caliber and a .357 caliber rifle, were stolen. Also stolen was a replica M16. And the 15-year-old boy taken into police custody last Friday in connection with a home invasion is being charged with murder. The St. Croix teen was with 2 burglary suspects coming out of a Beeston Hill home last week when police surprised them. Police shot and killed the other 2 men, now identified as 30-year-old Edwin Carmona and 20-year-old Franklin Johnson Jr. when the suspects fired on them. A police officer and canine officer were both injured during Friday's shootout, and the homeowners who called in the report were not hurt. The minor was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and numerous other charges. Education officials say they continue to work with police to find out what happened to thousands of dollars worth of technical equipment that was stolen from the St. Croix Central High School during Thanksgiving break. Officials initially said the equipment was valued at more than $300,000. A recent assessment puts the total closer to $21,000 for the stuff that was taken from the school's special education and science areas. A clerical error during the original inventory caused the mix-up. Officials are still asking for the community's help, however, in recovering the equipment that was supposed to be used for a new program. The 29th Legislature's Executive Director Pamela Richard Samuel resigned from the Senate Friday without notice. Although News 2 was unable to contact Samuel, we were able to speak to one senator about the resignation. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
Since Monday morning, the 29th Legislature has been without its top executive.
We received a letter in our office, I think Monday morning, that the executive director had resigned immediately as of Friday afternoon.
Former Executive Director Pamela Richard Samuel advised Senate President Ronald Russell of her intent to resign immediately to preserve her work ethic and dignity.
I've stated publicly before that the 29th Legislature has been one of chaos and confusion, and this just makes my statement even more factual. I can't tell you all of the details nor the fallout between the two, but as stated by her in her letter, it appears that her professionalism was being challenged in what she was being asked to do.
Senators and legislative staffers also received copies of Richard Samuel's resignation, and although she didn't list a specific incident, her reasoning is clear as she writes. As you know, my continued efforts to bring professionalism, transparency, and respect to the first branch of government have been met with resistance. Further, she says, I thank you for the opportunity you provided me to continue my service to the community as a public servant. However, it is important for me to leave now with my work ethic, civility, and dignity intact.
That, of course, raises some questions and some ire, I'm quite sure, of the people in the territory. And, this further adds to the distrust of the legislature by the people. So I'm hopeful that those of us who are going to be around in the 30th legislature and beyond know that we do have work to do to restore the people's trust.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, attempts to contact Senate President Ronald Russell for comment Tuesday went unanswered. With Congress and the president still scrambling to prevent tax hikes and spending cuts at the end of the year, President Obama is getting input today from state leaders from both sides of the aisle. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from Washington.
3 Republican and 3 Democratic governors gave the president their take on how to avoid the fiscal cliff this morning at the White House.
We're not sort of saying it should be this plan or that plan. I think what we all agree on is something's got to get done.
As governors, we think it's important that we have a seat at the table, that we're part of these discussions, both in terms of the impact it has on our finances and on our economies.
State governments could lose much needed federal aid if Democrats and Republicans don't reach a deal to stop automatic spending cuts before the end of the year.
The other issue is taxes. Congressional Republicans want Bush-era tax cuts extended for all Americans. President Obama says those tax cuts must expire for households making $250,000 or more.
It's a position that's supported by a majority of the American people. We need to see from Republicans an acknowledgement of that.
The GOP proposal that the White House quickly rejected closes tax loopholes and reduces deductions to raise $800 billion in new revenue. The plan also cuts $600 billion in health care entitlement programs.
We're overspending, and until you deal with that issue, you cannot raise taxes enough to be able to keep up with $1 trillion of accelerated spending.
Republicans dismissed the president's plan late last week. But now that both sides have numbers on the table, some congressional watchers believe those outlines may eventually help negotiators find common ground. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
Meanwhile, keeping our eye on the economy, stocks opened mixed as lawmakers remain deadlocked over the fiscal cliff. Investors are concerned that spending cuts and tax increases set to go into effect next month could push the economy back into many big banks had a good summer. Overall, U.S. banks earned more from July through September than in any other quarter over the past 6 years. Regulators say the banking industry earned nearly $38 billion in the third quarter, up more than 6% from a year earlier. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all down. The Dow 13, Nasdaq 5, S&P 2. Coming up on News 2, why some business owners complain that the season is not looking merry and bright during Christmas thanks to WAPA. Plus, a little bit of the USVI will be on display on the National Christmas tree in D.C. in the form of ornaments designed by BCB students based on VI culture and flair. Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority has started phase 2 of its underground project to place power cables underground. Meanwhile, business owners who are getting ready for the holiday season aren't too happy with the recent construction. This is Janisha John tells us why.
The holiday season is fast approaching, and while business owners in Christiansted Town are gearing up for the busy season, many are concerned that the recent construction sites for the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority may have a negative impact on their holiday sales.
It's definitely affecting us. Traffic has been atrocious in town since they've started this. A lot of people are not coming into town at all. They can't find parking. We are highly dependent on our Christmas season, and with this going on, it's extremely damaging to our businesses.
We compete every day with the internet, where you can sit in your pajamas and shop. If the local shopping is now made even worse by this construction, it's going to be even more of a problem.
WAPA's recent construction sites are part of the second phase of its underground project to place power lines underground, a project that WAPA officials say was planned carefully to try to accommodate business owners.
So we're very mindful of the status and the condition of the economy and the business owners, and that is the reason why we've taken the approach we've taken with this project. We had a couple of meetings with the business owners. We've walked door to door and given plans and given ideas of what's going on to them.
While the project's goal is to make the town safer and more visually appealing to help businesses, the concern to business owners is the timing of the project.
There's never really good timing for something like this. The problem we have is that this project, the funding expires in March of 2013. We can't afford any delays. If we could stop the project until January to make sure we don't inconvenience the business owners, we'd do so. But there's no way we can do that and meet the March 13 deadline.
We understand what they're doing, we understand why they're doing it, and it's wonderful that we're actually finally going to have our lines underground. But most of us have had a really rough year, and if we don't make it this month, we don't know that we can make it for another year.
Janisha John, News 2.
In 2 days, artwork from students of the Bertha C. Bachelta Middle School will be displayed at the White House as part of the National Christmas Tree Lighting. News 2's James Gardner has this report.
Ornaments made by 12 students from the BCB Middle School will help decorate President's Park and bring a little Caribbean flair to the White House on Thursday for the National Tree Lighting Ceremony. BCB art teacher Bridget Julius was recently selected by the VI Council on the Arts to work with her students in designing ornaments for the National Christmas Tree display.
I was contacted by Virgin Islands Arts Council, Ms. Tessida Couch, and she asked me in the summertime, it was like towards the end of summer, if I could come up with some ornaments for the National Christmas Tree in Washington. I knew of it because I've done ornaments from it before, But when she said, students, she said, well, we're still in summertime. Where am I going to get students? You're going to have to wait. So she said, it's no problem. I waited until school opened, and I look at the classes to see which class I think could probably handle it. And then I came up with the 12 students in my fourth period class. And that's how it all got started.
The ornaments will adorn a tree in President's Park, which includes the White House and outside grounds. Each state and territory has a tree in the park, which are each decorated with 24 ornaments.
They came up with stuff like the VI flag coming out of the box. They came up with, one had a market lady under a palm tree with some sand and shells coming out of a box. They had a hibiscus coming out of a box. So I appreciated that, because then you could never know. It's like saying the Virgin Islands is a surprise. When you come here, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get sunshine, you don't know if you can get rain, you don't know if you can go scuba diving, whether you go swimming, what you're going to find among the people in the VI. And I like that one in particular over all the others that they did, because it just was a surprise.
For News 2, this is James Gardner.
Now, the 90th annual National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony is scheduled for Thursday, December 6th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Congratulations to all the students. And don't forget, another upcoming tree lighting event is coming up, the 17th annual Christmas tree lighting of the Franklin D. Roosevelt Virgin Islands Veterans Memorial Park, using the theme, Making Spirits Bright with the Joy of Christmas Lights. The nonprofit organization, We From Upstreet, has planned many events starting from Sunday, December 9th, and that's the official tree lighting youth night and lighting of the park. Many students will participate. Then on Monday, December 10th from 6 to 9 p.m., it's the presentation of awards cultural night with church and community choirs, quadrille dancers, and Milos King. Then Tuesday, December 11th from 6 to 9 p.m., it's Nostalgic Christmas with music from Cliff Finch and Friends, along with several other well-known local artists. Many food, drinks, and cultural treats on sale. Organizers say, don't forget to bring your chairs. And a reminder, many call it the official kickoff to the Christmas season in St. Thomas, the official lighting of the large Havenside Mall Christmas tree. That's coming up on Wednesday, December 5th from 5:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Honoring Edward Thomas, lots of entertainment lined up for this year from EBO Band, Joseph Sibley, Lockhart Elementary, CAHS Marching Band, and a mini parade, carolers, and much, much more. The tree lighting will kick off around 6 p.m. And remember, the first 1,000 children will receive gifts and, of course, catch up with Santa. You can tune in right here on CBS TV2. We will take you to Havenside Mall for all the fun from 6:30 to 7 p.m. Then at 7 p.m., be sure to tune in to News 2 for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.